This is John Reed of JohnERP.com. I'm continuing with the two-part video series on SAP Career Strategy. This one's focused on the self-marketing component. And in the last video, I was so wrapped up telling you about the lamp, which I have lit tonight, that I forgot to mention the hat, which is a piece of apparel that I purchased in tribute to the Enterprise Geeks off of the enterprisegeeks.com website. And truth be known, I'm pretty much a geek at heart, and it feels good to pretty much say Enterprise Geeks rule, and I aspire to be one, even though I can't always follow every winding road of the geeky conversation. I learn a lot by trying, and those guys are great people, so hopefully you're tracking them as well. Now, as far as the self-marketing piece, in the last video we talked about developing a plan for acquiring skills and becoming an expert in something and figuring out how to prioritize that. But once you do that, you're looking at a process of putting your name out there. But what's changed is that they're not so much distinct activities anymore. For example, in many cases, the best consultants I know right now are the ones who are very actively engaged in community projects. They might be working with their peers on an open source development project. They might be active blogging on the community network. They might be an SAP mentor, like myself and many other people that I work with are, or they might be a top contributor on SCN. They might be someone who contributes to the insider conferences, like the one I got in the mail today for GRC that's coming up. So there's a lot of ways to be connected to peer groups within SAP. User groups are another great example of that, and they're global. There's user groups all over the world. So along those lines, as you're connecting with people in these groups, they're challenging you sometimes in real time on Twitter or what have you, and you're interacting with them and you're improving your knowledge base. So suddenly the community part is having a direct impact on how you're actually acquiring your expertise. In the process of helping people and exchanging information, you're also developing a reputation, and some of that becomes very visible, whether it's forum posts in the forum where other people get to know you, or maybe someone likes what you had to say and writes up a little recommendation for you on LinkedIn, and suddenly you're becoming a little bit of a known quantity. Maybe someone heard you talk at a conference and was impressed with what you had to say. These kinds of things are very, very effective, and while I have heard occasionally that people can have some success by simply posting a status on LinkedIn or on Twitter saying I'm looking for work or whatever, for the most part, the really great opportunities come about in the process of developing a community reputation. And Craig Schmehill of SAP is actually writing a book that's going to touch on some of these themes, I think, when he writes about the SAP Community Network in detail with SAP Press. You can be on the lookout for that book. But in the meantime, I can break down a couple concepts that I think are important, which is basically that you think of it in terms of, can I become a thought leader in an area? Now, thought leader is a little bit of a pretentious term, so if you prefer simply someone who is good at something or whatever, that's fine. Don't get hung up on the term, doesn't really matter. It's more about, can I raise the bar on myself in an area that I care about, that I want to excel in? And can I also find a way to make a contribution in that area to the community that's meaningful to me? So an example of that might be that you decide to become an expert in SAP's carbon management applications, but you also want to be involved in community projects around sustainability, so you get involved with that as well. Suddenly you've combined your expertise with community involvement. Beyond that, that's going to help to inform your strategy around using social networks. You might or may not want to use them, but if you decide you want to be on Twitter and join many of the active SAP members there, then now you're going to have things to talk about. You're going to have blog posts you can point to. Suddenly everything makes sense. Suddenly you're no longer broadcasting. You're in conversation, and through the process of that, you're developing expertise. Now, at some point, you still may need to go to formal certification to really round out your skills, but in the process of being involved in community, you're going to identify the areas in which you need to learn more, and you're going to have a rewarding way of developing those skills. And so that's kind of in a nutshell how I see the self-marketing aspect of an SAP skill set and career changing, and how much I think it's changed in recent years. Now, this isn't going to solve all your problems. The market is certainly a challenging one right now, and opportunities are hardly growing on trees. But I think if you take these options seriously and take these approaches seriously, I think you will find many adventures ahead of you that you would not have expected. So with that, I'd like to wish you luck on your SAP career, and feel free to post questions for me at johnerp.com, because I will incorporate that in a podcast. I might be able to email you directly. A lot of times in my ERP Lounge series, I actually take reader questions and work them into the podcast. So I look forward to seeing you online soon. John Reed, johnerp.com.